Today on the Bass Channel, we're not only taking a look at Aguilar's brand new AG Preamp, but we're seeing how it compares and how it differs from the tried and true Tone Hammer. So if you're new around here, the signal chain is as follows. All of the tonal examples you're going to hear in this video feature a unique combination of the basses behind me and are first recorded directly into a Radial JD7, then direct into a Tascam Model 16 and into Logic Pro 10. It is then reamped out of Logic Pro 10 using that same JD7 into each of these preamps simultaneously through a Tascam 2020 and once again back into Logic Pro 10. So that is the slightly overcomplicated and technical version of saying that the exact same sample was fed into both of these preamps simultaneously. So any of the differences you might hear in any of these samples are coming only from the pedal and not the player, the playing example, or the bass. And last little disclaimer, the point of this video is not necessarily to say that the AG is better than the Tone Hammer or that the Tone Hammer is better than the AG. I think they both serve a different purpose, and we're just here to see what those differences are so you can make a better decision of which one may or may not work better for your purpose. The AG Preamp is aptly modeled after Aguilar's AG700 bass amp head, but in a smaller enclosure. You have a gain control, a volume control, and a 4-band EQ of treble, bass, high mid, and low mid. The treble gives you plus or minus 14 dB at 4 kHz, the bass is plus or minus 17 dB at 40 Hz, the high mid is plus or minus 14 dB at 800 Hz, and the low mid is plus or minus 15 dB at 300 Hz. Another cool feature carried over from the AG700 amp are the deep and bright switches. And in the case of this pedal, it is a singular foot switch, one stomp for deep, one stomp for bright, one more stomp if you want both, and one more stomp to turn them off. The deep setting engages a plus 6 dB boost right under 250 Hz, whereas the bright switch gives you a shelving boost of 6 dB at 3 kHz. The Tone Hammer is a pedal-sized DI box modeled after Aguilar's insanely popular OBP3 onboard preamp. Like the AG, it has controls for gain, master, and this time it's a 3-band EQ with a parametric mid. The bass gives you plus or minus 18 dB at 40 Hz. The treble is plus or minus 18 dB at 4 kHz, and the mid control is plus or minus 17 dB from 180 Hz to 1 kHz, which is selected by the mid frequency knob. The other difference on the Tone Hammer is that it features a foot switchable AGS distortion circuit, the intensity of which is controlled by the gain knob. Both pedals feature both a balanced XLR out as well as a 1/4 inch out, in addition to their 1/4 inch in. They both have a pre-post toggle switch, a ground lift, and run on 18 volts. However, the AG sports 3.5mm jacks for auxiliary in and headphone out. like I said at the top, the point of this video was not to say that the AG is better than the Tone Hammer or vice versa. They're just two different animals. And over the course of putting this video together and running those different tones, I didn't worry too much about the exact knob position. I just tried to get both sort of in the general ballpark of the same tone. So the treble knob on one of them might be at like 1 o'clock, where the other one's like maybe 1:30 or 2. It's just, you know, treble boost or a bass boost or a mid cut or a mid boost or what have you. But during the course of recording those dozen or so samples, I forgot exactly how many I did, I really found that one isn't better than the other. One might be better than the other in one setting. You might have one setting where the Tone Hammer is kind of the better of the two for that vibe that I was going for, and then in the next one, the AG is the better. And then there were a couple where it was an even toss-up. So just in my personal and humble opinion, I think the pros of the Tone Hammer are definitely the drive circuit. I thought the drive circuit sounded really good, and I also really liked the parametric mid frequency, because sometimes, and I know I'm not the only person to do this, but you know, sometimes you really have to find a specific mid frequency that you want to boost or cut. Maybe there's a bass that's giving you a problem at 612 hertz and you need to cut that out. Or maybe there's a hole in the rest of your mix at, I don't know, 800, 900, 1000, 1100 hertz that you want to boost and push through to kind of fill that void. The parametric mid control of the Tone Hammer makes that a lot easier. But at the end of the day, it is still just one mid band, where the AG has two mid bands. Now they are fixed at 800 hertz and 300 hertz, which, depending on you as a player, depending on what bass you use, depending on who you play with, those could be the perfect frequencies. For me and a lot of what I do, they're not. I kind of found myself leaving the 300 straight up and 800 to taste. Usually I would just kind of cut the 800 a little bit. But for my style and some of the projects that I'm playing with, I found that for me, my sweet spot is usually 1.5 kilohertz, give or take. That's usually where I find the opportunity to cut through the mix. But the other thing that I noticed, and you probably noticed too, listening to the samples in this video, is that the AG seems to fill out and have more sonic information around the mids and low mids. Even though the Tone Hammer on the majority of its bands goes louder, you get more treble with the Tone Hammer, you get more bass with the Tone Hammer. When you crank it, it leaves the mids feeling hollow, which I didn't encounter with the AG. My perfect pedal would be somehow combining these two to get the fullness of the AG and the drive of the Tone Hammer. That's just a personal thing. So, like I said, one of them's bound to work better for you, one of them's bound to work better for me, and which one that is kind of up to you and I. So I do believe that is all I have to say on the matter of the Tone Hammer versus the AG. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. But if you hated the video, give it a dislike, and preferably don't leave me a comment, because I'm kind of done reading them all. And if you never want to see my face again, unsubscribe. So until next time, be safe, and I'll see you later.